If you live in Canada, you know this feeling. The endless scrolling, the sticker shock, that sense that having a place of your own is just drifting further and further away. It has become the defining issue for millions of us.
And is the big question on pretty much everyone's mind. So today, we're going to dive into the absolutely staggering scale of Canada's housing crisis, and we're going to explore a massive new federal plan that claims it has the answer. Okay, let's get into it.
First things first, let's get a real handle on just how big this problem is. We're not talking about a small shortfall here. We are talking about a gigantic gap that's going to take a monumental effort to close.
So get this, according to the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation, the CMHC, we need to build nearly 500,000 new homes every single year until 2035. And that's just to get back to the affordability we had in 2019. To put that into perspective, that is almost double the pace we're building at right now. Now, what's really fascinating here is how unevenly this pain is spread across the country. I mean, look at Vancouver. Housing there eats up a jaw-dropping 93% of the median pre-tax income. In Toronto, it's 68%. But then you look at a city like Edmonton, and it's around 30%, which, is the official threshold for what's actually considered affordable. This huge difference really explains why some places feel like they're at a breaking point.
So if a place like Edmonton is doing relatively better, what can we learn from them? Well, let's take a look at Alberta, because they're taking a really different approach by tackling the supply side of this whole equation head-on. And this, right here, illustrates one of the biggest hurdles: speed. Getting a housing project approved in Edmonton takes less than 2 years. Compare that to Toronto and Vancouver, where builders say it can take up to 5 years. That is 3 extra years of delays and rising costs before a single shovel can even break ground. And it's not just about moving faster. Alberta is also putting some serious money where its mouth is. A recent joint investment of over $200 million is set to create 2,300 new affordable units across 25 different projects. And this includes really targeted stuff, like Williams Hall in Edmonton, which is getting over $4 million to build housing specifically for young adults and students who are facing major barriers to renting.
So Alberta's approach shows what can be done on a regional level. But let's be honest, the scale of this national crisis really calls for a national solution. And that is exactly where the federal government's new and incredibly ambitious plan comes in: Build Canada Homes.
So what is Build Canada Homes, or BCH as you'll probably hear it called? Well, it's a brand new federal agency, and it's being launched with a massive initial investment of $13 billion. Its main job is to act as a kind of master builder for the entire country, using this powerful combo of public land and private partnerships to get affordable housing built and built fast. The plan really rests on 3 key pillars. First, using huge amounts of federal land, which basically gets rid of one of the biggest costs of any project right off the bat. Second, a major focus on new technology. Think factory-built and modular homes that can slash construction times by up to 50%. And third, acting as a one-stop shop to streamline all the financing and approvals to get projects moving without all the usual red tape.
And to really understand the sheer ambition here, you just have to look at this quote from the Prime Minister. The goal isn't just to build a few thousand homes, it's to create an entirely new housing industry right here in Canada from the ground up.
But of course, a plan this huge is going to have both its supporters and its skeptics. So the really crucial thing is to look at both sides. What are the biggest reasons to be optimistic, and what are the potential roadblocks that could derail this whole thing?
So on the optimistic side, you've got the sheer scale of the plan and its focus on proven cost savers like public land and modular tech. It's also targeting long-neglected areas like co-op and supportive housing, which is great. But the hurdles, they're very real. The federal government can't just force cities to approve projects faster, and those local bottlenecks are a massive issue. There's also this risk that other priorities, like Buy Canadian rules or super strict green standards, could accidentally drive costs up, not down. And finally, some critics worry that even this huge plan might not be enough to truly move the needle.
All right, so we've covered the problem and the proposed solution, but let's bring it back to what really matters most. What could this actually mean for you, whether you're renting, hoping to buy, or just worried about the future of your community?
As this program starts to roll out, here are the 5 key things you should keep an eye on. First, the most obvious one: are homes actually getting built? Shovels in the ground are what count. Second, who are they for? The definition of affordable really matters. Third, are cities speeding up approvals, or are they still the bottleneck? Fourth, what's the final cost per home? We need to see if those promised savings are real. And finally, where are these homes being built? A new apartment is great, but its real value depends on being connected to jobs, transit, and schools.
So we're left with the ultimate question. Build Canada Homes is one of the boldest housing plans this country has ever seen. It has the potential to reshape our cities and provide real relief for millions. But its success hinges entirely on execution, on turning big ambitions into actual apartments and turning policy into homes. The real question isn't just if it will work, but if it can work fast enough to catch up. So, will this be the turning point we need, or just a drop in a relentlessly rising ocean?